At my birthday, my sister raised her glass and shouted, "Let's drink to the biggest loser in this family." Laughter erupted. I smiled, lifted mine, and said, "And for the ones who just lost their streaming, grocery, and gas accounts." The table fell silent as her glass slipped from her hand and shattered. 2 months later, I got a certified letter in the mail. I thought it was a mistake at first. I don't get certified letters. Nothing I do is that official. I half expected it to be jury duty or a parking ticket I forgot about. But when I opened it, my chest tightened. It was from a lawyer, not a firm. A solo practitioner in some strip mall in suburban New Jersey. I recognized the name, though. It was the same lawyer Lauren once raved about at dinner. Said he was spiritually aligned with her healing goals. I thought she meant he was a therapist. Nope. The letter wasn't long. Just a few lines, actually. It said Lauren was seeking compensation for unpaid emotional labor, sibling-induced trauma, and unjust enrichment via unauthorized use of her creative likeness. I had to read that part twice. Then a third time. Apparently, the spreadsheet she saw on my laptop one time, the one I used to track my freelance invoices. She claimed I'd stolen her concept of energy exchange monetization and used it in my work without credit. She also claimed that I'd emotionally manipulated her into laboring as an unpaid spiritual consultant every time I asked for her opinion or vented about my own life. I laughed, out loud, in my kitchen, alone. Then I flipped the page. She was asking for $18,000, in lieu of further public defamation. Defamation, for blocking her, for saying no. That's when I realized this wasn't about money, not really. It was about rewriting the story. Her story. Because when I stopped funding her, I took away her narrative too. The version where she was the misunderstood lightworker and I was the bitter, jealous sister trying to dim her shine. Now that she wasn't getting applause anymore, she needed a new villain. And who better than the one who stopped clapping? I didn't respond. I didn't even call a lawyer. I just let the deadline pass. A week later, my mom called. "Did you get the letter?" she asked, like she was asking if I'd received a wedding invite. I didn't answer. "She's in a bad place," she said. "She's lost, you know she didn't mean any of it." I said, "She signed it." She was angry. "Then maybe anger is her true self," my mom sighed. "You've always been so rigid, Nancy, so all or nothing." I laughed. "No, Mom, that's Lauren. I've spent a decade living in the gray, letting things slide, forgiving things no one even asked forgiveness for. But this is clarity." That night, I finally emailed the lawyer back, not to argue. Just to say there was no legal basis, and if they continued to harass me, I'd file a countersuit for malicious prosecution. He never replied. But Lauren did. A text this time. "Wow, lawyer energy now, big flex, congrats. Hope it helps you sleep at night." I didn't respond. Then came the real twist. 3 weeks later, I got a Venmo notification from Lauren for $22.00. Caption, "Reparations for your trauma. Consider this closure." It was the most insane thing she'd ever done, and somehow also the pettiest. I screenshotted it. Then I deleted the app. By then, my family knew the line had been drawn. I was no longer invited to group chats, Sunday dinners, or holiday plans. Shelby told me they'd started calling me the stone wall behind my back. I didn't mind. Because here's the thing about being a stone wall. You don't crumble, people stop leaning on you eventually. They go find someone else to carry their mess. Lauren tried to turn herself into a brand. Again. She launched a website, badly formatted, filled with misspellings, offering intuitive coaching for post-capitalist inner child healing. Her credentials were listed as life experience, empath training, and divine downloads. She charged $300 for an hour session. I don't think anyone ever booked. A mutual friend texted me a screenshot of one of her testimonials. It was clearly written by Lauren herself under a fake name. Nancy V. I actually laughed. That's when I knew. This wasn't about me anymore. She wasn't chasing my money or my help. She was chasing the high of being needed. And when that dried up, she tried to replace it with followers. Fake ones, real ones, it didn't matter, as long as someone was watching. But the views never came. The likes stayed flat. And the comments, mostly bots. Eventually, the site went down. The Patreon too. All that's left is her Instagram, still public, still full of selfies with captions like, "The phoenix doesn't explain itself to the ashes." But me, I was done. I had started seeing someone. Quietly, A guy named Joel who worked in IT and thought astrology was a fun hobby, not a career path. He once said, "I like how calm your life is." And it hit me. No one had ever said that to me before. Because it never had been calm. Not until now. One night I told him the whole story, everything. He didn't say much, just held my hand and said, "That's a lot, you didn't deserve any of it." I cried then, for the first time in months. Not because I missed Lauren, but because I finally understood. Peace doesn't always feel triumphant. Sometimes it's just the absence of chaos. And that's enough. Have you ever had to cut someone off, even a family member, for your own peace? Let me know in the comments. And if this hit home, don't forget to like and subscribe. More stories like this coming soon. 2 months after the Venmo stunt, something weird happened. I started getting packages. At first, I thought they were mistakes. Random Amazon boxes on my doorstep. A portable juicer. A set of bath bombs. A mood ring. Then came a journal. Bright pink. Embossed with manifest that sh*T across the front. No note. No sender info. Just my name, my address. By the fourth package, a chakra crystal set, I knew it was her. Lauren. She'd found a new tactic, psychological whiplash. No more begging, no more threats. Now it was curated, guilt-dipped gestures of fake reconciliation. Just enough to make me wonder if I was the villain for staying silent. But I didn't cave. I started returning the packages unopened. The mail carrier eventually stopped asking questions. Just nodded when I handed them back. Then one afternoon, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "Hey Nancy, this is Ray, I was Lauren's therapist. She asked me to reach out. She's been in a dark place and wanted to say thank you for the past and for the space." I stared at that message. Ray, Lauren had told me once about a guy named Ray who practiced intuitive therapy via text and edible microdosing. This had to be him. I didn't reply, instead I Googled his number. Turns out Ray wasn't a licensed anything. He was a barista/podcaster in Boulder, Colorado. His Instagram bio read, "Healer, dreamer, plant daddy." I blocked the number. A week later, my mom showed up at my apartment. No warning. I opened the door and she was standing there with Tupperware and tired eyes. "I made lasagna," she said. We hadn't seen each other in months. I didn't say anything. Just let her in. She sat at the kitchen table like old times. Except this time she didn't start with small talk. She just said, "She's not doing well, Nancy. She barely eats. She barely gets out of bed. She listens to the same meditation tape every night, the one you bought her." I stayed quiet. "She needs help. She's had help, years of it, from me." My mom put her hands on the table like she was praying. "But not from a sister. I was never her sister, Mom. I was her wallet. She misses you." "No. She misses what I gave her." We sat in silence. The lasagna steamed between us untouched. Finally, I asked, "What do you want me to do, exactly?" She looked down. "She wants to move in with you, just for a month, a change of scenery. She says she'll pay rent, says she just wants to reset." That word again, reset, like she was a phone that just needed a factory reboot. "No," I said, "absolutely not. She's your family." "So am I," she left the lasagna. I threw it out the next day, not because I was angry, because I knew I wouldn't eat it without hearing her voice in every bite, saying, "Just be the bigger person." A few days later, Joel and I took a trip. Just a weekend getaway to Asheville, North Carolina. I needed air, something with trees and silence. On the second night, we were sitting in a little brewery. Live music, fairy lights, the works. Then Joel looked at his phone and frowned. "Hey, this is weird." He turned it to me. It was Lauren. She'd followed him on Instagram, then liked 30 of his photos in a row, photos of us. She even commented on one, "You look like you bring peaceful energy." Lucky girl. I stared at the screen like it was in a different language. I didn't say anything, just walked outside. Joel followed. "I didn't respond," he said. "Didn't even follow her back. I just thought you should know." She was trying to break through any crack she could find, and when she couldn't reach me, she tried to reach him. I blocked her again, everywhere. I told Joel to do the same. The rest of the trip, I barely slept. Every peaceful moment felt like a trap now, like a pause before another invasion. When we got home, I changed the locks on my apartment. I didn't think she had a key. But with Lauren, you could never be sure. Then came the final twist. It was a Tuesday, always a Tuesday, it seemed, when the email arrived. A full apology. Paragraphs long, subject line, If you read one thing from me, let it be this. She detailed everything. The years of manipulation, the entitlement, the guilt trips. She said she'd been seeing a real therapist this time, that she finally understood the damage she'd caused. There were lines in there that gutted me. I used to think your love was unconditional, but what I really wanted was your survival instinct, your resilience. I tried to take what made you strong and wear it like it was mine. She said she didn't expect forgiveness. Just understanding. Said she was moving out of our parents' house. Said she got a part-time job at a co-op. No dreams of podcasts or brands this time, just a paycheck. Said she wouldn't reach out again unless I wanted her to. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't respond. But I didn't block her again either. For the first time, her silence didn't feel manipulative. It felt like space, and I took it. That was 6 months ago. 6 months of silence. Not total, but real. No texts, no weird packages. No backdoor messages through family or friends, just space. The kind I'd begged for years ago and never gotten. Lauren had vanished from social media. Her Instagram was wiped clean. No selfies, no crystal memes, no captions about releasing ancestral debt. Her Patreon was gone. Her website was down. Even the Healing Through Movement class she once announced had quietly disappeared. I didn't know where she went or what she was doing. I didn't ask. But the quiet unnerved me, not because I missed her, but because I didn't trust her. Still, then, one Sunday, Joel and I were walking through a local craft fair in Durham, where I'd just moved. My new job at a nonprofit paid better. The air was clearer. Life felt like it had finally grown new roots. We stopped at a booth selling handmade journals and herbal teas. That's when I saw her. Lauren. Standing behind a folding table, hair tied back, wearing a plain sweater. No makeup, no filters, just her. The real her. She didn't notice me at first. She was busy arranging jars of homemade balm, greeting customers, smiling with this odd mixture of effort and peace. It took her a second. Then her eyes met mine. She froze for a moment. Then she nodded just slightly and turned back to the table. No drama, no tears, no performance. I walked past without stopping. Joel looked at me. "You okay?" "Yeah." And I was, shaken but steady. Later that night, I couldn't sleep. Not from anger, but from something else, something quieter, curiosity. So I Googled the name of her booth. Rest and Root Remedies. It had a small website. Clean. No claims about miracles or manifesting, just salves and teas, everything handmade. There was even a blog, short posts about burnout, about boundaries, about rebuilding your nervous system after long-term stress. Each one signed. I stared at the screen for a while, then I closed it. I didn't order anything. I didn't message her. But I didn't block her again, either. That was my line now. Distance without disdain. A month passed. Then came Thanksgiving. My mom called to invite me, said Lauren wouldn't be there. "She's working that day," she said carefully. I went. First time in 3 years, dinner was fine, uneventful. No toasts, no digs, no tension. After dessert, my dad cornered me in the kitchen. "She's really trying, you know," he said, washing dishes like he hadn't just dropped a bomb. I didn't answer. "She's living in a shared house now, works 6 days a week. Doesn't ask us for anything, first time since she was 19. "That's good," I said, and I meant it. But then he added, "She said you inspired her." I nearly dropped my plate. "Not because of your success," he clarified, "but because you stopped letting her fail upwards." I didn't know what to say, so I didn't say anything. Then, Christmas. A package arrived at my new place. No note, just a small jar of homemade balm labeled "Still Standing." It smelled like lavender and lemon. I kept it on my shelf, didn't open it, didn't throw it out. And that became the new chapter. Not a reunion, not a redemption arc, but an acknowledgement. She was building something, and I was building something else. Then came the final twist. 3 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. Not certified, just a plain envelope with a wax seal. Inside was a single-page printout, a screenshot of a post from her new blog. It read, "Sometimes healing looks like silence, and sometimes it looks like telling the truth even when no one claps. This one's for the sister who taught me how to say no and mean it, not because she hated me, but because she finally loved herself more." There was no name, but I knew it was her, and for the first time in over a decade, I believed her. She wasn't healed, but she was healing. And me, I was done carrying the weight, not because I wanted revenge, because I wanted freedom. And for the first time in my life, I had it. It all came full circle on a random Thursday. I was deep into grant writing for work, half watching a webinar with one earbud in, when my personal email pinged with a message I hadn't expected. Subject, business use inquiry, rest and root remedies. I almost deleted it. Thought it was spam. But something about the way business use was phrased made me pause, so I opened it. It was from a woman named Amy, a mid-level brand manager at a popular subscription wellness box. She wrote, "We recently discovered your sister's herbal product line and wanted to reach out before moving forward. Since we know from past research that you co-founded or helped develop some of the formulations, according to her archived podcast, we'd like to verify permissions before featuring rest and root remedies in an upcoming campaign. Please confirm your approval or let us know if there's a dispute." My blood went cold. Co-founder, formulations, I'd done no such thing. I hadn't spoken to her in over a year. I searched the podcast, found it within minutes. Just 4 episodes, each under 15 minutes with low views and soft music in the background. But there she was. Lauren. Episode 2. Creating from chaos at the 412 mark, she said. I'm so lucky. My sister helped me craft the original recipes. She taught me about ratios, quality testing, even spreadsheet tracking. She's the reason this brand exists. I sat back in my chair, so this was it. She'd repackaged the past, bent it just enough to sound generous, made it look like we were collaborators, not combatants. It was subtle, but dangerous. Because it wasn't just about credit, it was about credibility. She'd created a myth where I was her silent partner, the wise, nurturing sister in the shadows. And now a real company was knocking, ready to boost her brand based on that lie. I thought about ignoring it. But then I remembered every phone call she skipped, every time she used my rent money for crystals, every time she weaponized guilt into currency. I thought about the lawyer letter, the Venmo reparations, the podcast testimonials. She built a brand off the wreckage of our history, so I took a deep breath and wrote back, "Thank you for reaching out. I appreciate your due diligence. I want to be clear. I am not involved in any way with the creation, formulation, or management of rest and root remedies. I did not contribute to the development of the products or the business. The statement made in the referenced podcast is inaccurate. I have not had any contact with the owner of Rest and Root Remedies in over a year. If the brand continues to use my name or likeness in any promotional materials, I'll be pursuing legal action for misrepresentation. Best, Nancy." I didn't hear back for a week. Then I got a follow-up. "Thank you for confirming. We've decided not to move forward with the partnership at this time. We appreciate your transparency." I clicked the link to their site. Her name was gone from the campaign teaser. No mention of rest and root remedies. Just a clean slate. And then, because I'm human, I checked her website. It was still up, but the tone had shifted. The About page was scrubbed of any mention of family. No blog posts, no new podcasts. One product still listed. Quiet Balm. Everything else marked sold out. 2 weeks later, I heard from Shelby. Lauren had moved again, not far, just into a studio apartment near downtown Raleigh. No roommates this time, just her. "She's quiet these days," Shelby said. "Goes to the co-op, comes home, no more content, no more big plans." "Good," I said, but Shelby paused. "She knows, you know." "Knows what?" "That the deal fell through. Someone from the company must have told her why. She didn't say anything to me, but she's been different." I said nothing. Because what was there to say? That was my revenge, not loud, not messy, just the truth. Spoken calmly, directly, and with finality. I didn't need her to suffer. I just needed her myth to collapse, and it did, quietly, efficiently, completely. Months passed, then a year. She never reached out again. Her brand faded. The Instagram page went dark. The podcast disappeared from Apple. And me, I got promoted. I bought a place. I started mentoring young women who reminded me of myself before I got wise. Women who bent over backwards for others, thinking it made them strong. I told them this. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away, not out of anger, out of clarity. Because walking away isn't always a war. Sometimes it's just the moment you choose yourself. And years later, when someone asks me if I ever hear from Lauren, I just smile and say, "She taught me a lot, and I paid in full."